Peterson. I am the co-president of the League of Women Voters, along with Amy Hoholland. At this time, could you please join me to say the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our League would like to welcome everyone here this afternoon to the forum for candidates running in the November 6th election for the County Board Chairman, Forest Preserve President, County Clerk, County Sheriff, and the County Board members from District 4. The candidate forums like this provide a nonpartisan venue to give the general public an opportunity to participate in the electoral process by asking questions of the candidates about issues that are important to them. I'd like to remind you that candidates make a choice about participating in this opportunity, and we sincerely thank them for coming. Before I introduce our moderator for the afternoon, I want to thank all the League members who made this event happen, especially Rita Doyle, our voter service chef, who is still working over there. Now I'd like to introduce our moderator, Valerie Pelier, from the Oak Park River Forest League of Women Voters. Thank you.
My name is Valerie Pelier, and I am from the League of Women Voters of Oak Park River Forest, and I will be your moderator. I would like to begin this forum by reviewing some of the ground rules for candidate forums. These are printed on the back side of your programs, but I wanted to emphasize a few points before we get started today. Every candidate who is participating here today has signed and returned the ground rules. These rules specify the format, time limits, and other rules related to the conduct of this forum. I will be responsible for enforcing these rules. The candidates drew lots to determine the order in which they give their opening statements, and thereafter we will alternate the order of answering the questions. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, 1 minute to respond to each question, and 1 minute to make a closing statement. Their responses will be timed. We have asked you to write questions on the index cards, and volunteers have collected them. Please feel free to continue to do so. A panel of experienced members of the League of Women Voters will review the questions submitted by the audience and carefully select questions for appropriateness and to avoid duplication. If you write new questions out, please indicate what the name of the office, the title of the office to which your questions are addressed. We have asked the candidates, and we also ask the audience, to please keep all campaign materials outside this room. We have asked the candidates to agree that they will not use any voice, image, video, or other recording of the forum in their campaign. We also request that you, the audience, refrain from taking photos or videos. First of all, it is distracting for other members of the audience. We also believe it is more conducive to a free exchange of ideas if we are not busy filming what people say. So we respectfully request that you please just listen and not pull out your cameras. Finally, I want to emphasize how grateful we are for these candidates who are not only willing to serve in office, but who agreed to come here today. Please show these candidates your appreciation and respect. Please do not clap, cheer, boo, applaud, or otherwise vocalize your agreement or disagreement with any question or answer. Please show these candidates, all of them, your gratitude that they have chosen to come here today. Thank you. We will begin, as the program indicates, with the position of County Board Chairman. The candidates are Mr. Dan Cronin and Ms. Lynn, LePlante. Would you come forward, please?
There. Thank you.
Ms. LePlante has drawn first position, and so she will begin with her opening statement.
Thank you very much. Thank you, League of Women Voters, for hosting this event, and thank you to everyone who came here today. My name is Lynn LePlante, and I'm running for chairman of the DuPage County Board. I was inspired to run by Barack Obama's farewell address when he said, "Change only happens when ordinary people get involved." If you're disappointed in your elected officials, grab a clipboard, go out and get some signatures, and run for office yourself. So that is literally exactly what I did. I'm very proud to stand with the hundreds of first-time candidates from around the country who have taken their outrage at what's happening at our national level and are turning it into activism in their community in order to affect real change. I'm a passionate public servant. I am here to get involved and to help my neighbors. I am starting with the county board because I believe we should clean up our own mess in our own backyard first. I do not believe this position should be partisan. Currently, out of the 19 board members, 18 of them are Republican. There has never been a Democrat to hold the position of chairman, nor has there ever been a female to hold the position from either party. And that is in the entire history of DuPage County, 179 years. I am running to change that. I do not believe that we should have career professional politicians leading our county. That leads to corruption, it leads to sort of things that I am finding out are happening in our county. The same things that we see happening at the national level are being reflected here. I want to change that. I am honest, I am ethical, and I am utterly unbeholden to outside interests. I have a very strong voice, and I want to use it for people who have been marginalized, for people who have been disenfranchised in our community. I want to use my voice for people who have never even had a voice. I have the fresh vision that I believe is needed here in DuPage County. Thank you very much.
Mr. Cronin?
Hello and thank you. My name is Dan Cronin. I'm here with my lovely wife, Julie, and we have 4 beautiful children. We live in Elmhurst. I raised my kids in Elmhurst. I grew up down the block, actually, from where I live today. I was one of 9 children. I've lived in Elmhurst all my life. I served for nearly 20 years in the Illinois legislature. I'm proud of my accomplishments there, mostly in the area of education. I served as the chairman of the Senate Education Committee for about 10 years. Since 2010, when I began my service as the DuPage County Board Chairman, I really wanted to do all I could to gain the trust and confidence of the voters and the taxpayers, because I was mindful of the problems in Springfield and Washington, and I thought we could show how government can work here in DuPage County. So what have we done since then? Our brand of governance is accountability, consolidation, and transparency, or the ACT initiative, saving a projected $120 million since 2012. We've responsibly cut $38 million from the DuPage County budget since 2010. We've reduced county personnel by 92 positions. We've kept property tax rates flat my entire tenure for 10 years. We have maintained a AAA bond rating. We've abolished a sales tax. I don't know when the last time there's any unit of government that actually abolished a tax. We did it. We've dissolved 7 units of government. We've modernized, streamlined, and reduced county benefits. We reformed the juvenile justice system. We've tackled opioid and heroin head on. We led the country with our Narcan program. We're leading on Western access, building Illinois 390 and gaining access to O'Hare Airport, working regionally with the mayor of the city of Chicago. I'm proud of our accomplishments. There's more to do, and that's why I'm here to share these thoughts with you and to ask for your vote.
I'm not sure that the microphone is.
Let's turn
Also,
to project. Speak from your diaphragm.
We all signed forms that said we would not use any written notes or visual aids.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. I did everything without a visual aid. I didn't need notes.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's just so much for me to talk about, all of our accomplishments. Sometimes I have to have it all.
Mr. Cronin, the first question goes to you under the alternating system. Given the fiscal challenges the county faces in part due to state funding cuts, what programs and services would you protect from cuts, and where do you feel cuts might be made?
Well, we've struggled the last couple of budget cycles, and we were able to balance our budget in spite of the fact that the state of Illinois, they reduced our local government distributive share, and they also took a 2% administrative fee off of our sales tax collections. We've been able to manage, we've been able to find efficiencies, we've been able to cross-train, we've reduced headcount, we've consolidated units, we've shared our IT department and our human resources department. We have done, I think, a award-winning job in trying to make ends meet in this most difficult time. We've cut the budget and we've met our responsibilities, and I'm proud of that.
Ms. LePlante?
Would you please repeat the question?
Be happy to. Given the fiscal challenges the county faces, in part due to state funding cuts, what programs and services would you protect from cuts, and where do you feel cuts might be made?
Thank you. That's a wonderful question. One of the programs that I'm very, very passionate about is Meals on Wheels. We need to protect the most vulnerable members of our community. The fact that when Illinois cut funding to that and DuPage County couldn't come up with funds for that, that horrified me. Especially when we are not making cuts that are affecting the elected officials' pocketbooks. We have the highest paid politicians in the state on our county board. We are getting paid, we are paying them full-time salaries with full health benefits for part-time work. My opponent has 2 pensions, his own law firm. He makes $133,000 for a part-time job. He takes a car allowance that the citizens are paying for. And also, the microphone just went out. Also, can you hear me in the back? I'll speak up very loudly, thank you. The mic's out. I'll speak loudly. I'm used to public speaking and I can project.
Maybe stand up.
Sure, I'm happy to stand up. How's this? Wonderful. Something that we can do is reduce the number. Look at what we're spending on our politicians. We have the highest paid politician in the entire state of Illinois. That is the chief of staff for my opponent. He is paid $205,000 per year. We also they just approved nearly $300,000 annually to spend on lobbyists.
Thank you, Ms. LePlante.
Did you allow me extra time for
I
the
believe
microphone?
yes.
Wonderful, thank you.
Can we have somebody address the microphone?
Yes, I'm following.
She's doing that now.
Okay. Are the 2 of you up to projecting for a little while till we get the microphone? All right. Ms. LePlante, this next question begins with you then. What kinds of policies, if any, will you pursue to promote social and racial justice in DuPage County?
That question is very near and dear to my heart because I do not believe that our current county board reflects in any way the makeup of the constituents of DuPage County. What we need to do, and as chairman, I'm able to appoint people to positions. We have got to look to the LGBTQ community. We have to make sure that they feel included, that they feel safe. We have to look to the refugee community in our midst. Things like the World Relief Program that we have, I am so proud of that program. I'm so proud of programs like Renew in my town of Glen Ellyn. We have got to make sure that this is a sanctuary county, that people feel safe and welcomed, that everyone is treated as a neighbor. We have to look out for everyone. Those kinds of programs, you reach out to that community and you can fill positions with that. Thank you.
Mr. Cronin?
We make an effort to reach out and get the most talented folks that we can. I do have this responsibility to appoint folks to boards and commissions. We have made it a central part of my service. We have it on our website. We spend time every week reaching out and trying to recruit folks. We seek people of color. We seek people from varying backgrounds. But most importantly, we seek people that have merit. Right? One of the things that we did just recently is I felt that we were not really recruiting and we didn't have among us folks with disabilities. We have really tried our hardest and we have implemented a new program where we are out recruiting folks that are capable of doing things and they have talents. They suffer from a disability. So finding the right job that fits their capabilities is something that we are trying to do right now.
Thank you. Mr. Cronin, we stay with you. I am very concerned about the toxic air pollution currently being...
Stereogenics.
Yes, I'm sorry, I got a note distracted me. Being created by Stereogenics in Willowbrook. When did you first hear about it and what do you intend to do to fix it?
Well, I mean, I've been immersed in that issue. Since I first heard about it on the weekend, I got a call from the mayor of Willowbrook. We have taken very strong and assertive action. I have called for the cease of operations there at Sterigenics. I've called on the Attorney General, Lisa Madigan, to pull their permit. I'm working closely with Senator John Curran, who has sponsored legislation that actually calls for the opening up of the permit. See, when they were given the permit in 2015, we since learned that this chemical, ETO, is far more hazardous and is far more likely to cause cancer. I have family in that neighborhood. I have a nephew in that neighborhood with leukemia. This is an issue that is very near and dear to me. This is not about politics. This is not about partisanship. This is about an issue that is very real and has a very, very real impact on people's lives. And we are front and center on it. And it's getting kind of lonely there, frankly.
Thank you. Ms. LePlante?
We have someone that's going to address them.
Sure. How about I'll give you this, we'll swap, you can have this. Can everyone hear me okay? Wonderful. First of all, this past weekend, was not the first time that my opponent heard about this issue.
Really?
This is not news.
Mr. Cronin, please don't respond in kind. Please wait until the question is addressed.
Please pause the timing, thank you. This has been brought up the report was released a few years ago. A quick Google search will tell you how damaging, how poisonous, and how cancer-causing this gas is in our community. You do not have to be working in a laboratory to understand that. You didn't even have to wait for a report. What you can do, and what I was told was he said, we can't legislate it, that's a federal issue. Your job as chairman is to beat the drum loudly, to get everyone's attention. Reach out to your friend, Bruce Rauner, call him on the phone and say, help. We need to make this stop, and we need to make it stop today. Thank you.
Ms. LePlante, the next question is to you. DuPage County has taken proactive steps regarding consolidation, most recently merging the election commission with the county clerk's office. Do you favor consolidation in the future? If so, what steps would you take?
Thank you. Thank you. I absolutely favor consolidation. Here's my criticism with the consolidation that just happened with the clerk's office and the election commission. It was 13 years too late. You're going to hear from Jean Kazmarek later on this program, and she can explain it in further detail. She has been a community watchdog sounding the alarm about this issue. This should have been done 13 years ago, but because of partisan politics, she was not listened to. She was turned down for meetings. She had to FOIA every single bit of information that she got. She had to work her fingers to the bone. All you have to do is a quick Google search, find her letters to the editor, find every single post that she's written about it, and it goes back 13 years. If we're going to consolidate these government agencies, why would we wait this long to do it? Because we waited so long, there were two completely and utterly botched elections that were completely embarrassing publicly for our county, statewide, and nationwide.
Thank you. Mr. Cronin?
Yeah, so I was elected in 2010, December of 2010. I was aware or learned that there were problems there. I immersed myself in it almost immediately. So I'm in my 8th year. It's been going on for 13 years. I mean, one of the first things that we did was we fired at that time, the board, the appointments, and we replaced new people, new leadership. Kathy Ficker-Terrell, who has really a wonderful record of managing public agencies, has done a marvelous job. We consolidated election polling places. We saved a lot of money. We put the vendors out for rebid. We came in with a whole no procurement.
Mr.
It wasn't
Cronin,
enough.
They're having trouble hearing you in the back. Can you use the microphone, please?
It wasn't enough, and so finally I proposed some legislation. It was a bipartisan effort. The Democratic Party chairman out here wasn't happy with it because he didn't get the picks. It was petty partisan politics, so we finally decided just to merge it into the clerk's office. We got the job done.
Mr. Cronin, so the next question is to you. What is your view as to what the county's relationship with ICE should be?
Well, there is some
Can you
relationship
please
with,
use the microphone?
there is some relationship with the sheriff's office. And it came up recently, and I think we learned that the sheriff's office does have a policy, or there's a policy that is directly administered by the sheriff. As you know, the sheriff is a separate elected office who is responsible to the voters. And so I think what they ultimately arrived at, or what was discussed, was they follow the law and they do the right thing, right? And so that's what we do here in DuPage County, and we make sure that they follow the law and that we do the right thing.
Ms. LePlante?
I don't think assuming that people will do the right thing is the proper way to protect the constituents of DuPage County. This new sheriff that is running for office, Mendrick, terrifies me. He has posted absolutely racist and absolutely dog whistle posts about immigrants. Chairman Cronin has aligned himself completely with Mendrick. So whatever viewpoints that Mendrick holds, you have got to assume that so does Dan Cronin. They share political signs. They're up all over. It says Dan Cronin, James Mendrick, on the same side. So you better believe that they want ICE in DuPage County. This is supposed to be a sanctuary state. This is supposed to be a sanctuary town, in a sanctuary county. Mendrick said he will do whatever it takes to make sure DuPage County is never turned into a sanctuary county.
Thank you. Ms. LePlante, back to you. What is your position on and how will you decide whether the county or the Forest Preserve will take the lead on funding and building the East Branch DuPage River Trail?
The wonderful thing about the Forest Preserve is the person who's running for Forest Preserve president. I could not be more honored to be running alongside Dan Hebriard. He was born to do this job. He was made to do this job, and he will do an amazing job. Currently, there's so much corruption in the Forest Preserve. I know that sounds fantastical. I was also shocked when I heard it. But the money that's going into that program and that is being misused is absolutely abhorrent. I'm going to leave it up to Dan to explain that when it is his turn. But what I will do as chairman is work very closely with Dan. We are already working together. We are already building a foundation of how we are going to move forward with this. What I love about these candidates that I'm running with is we are already in constant contact. We're already coming up with plans, and I will defer to his expertise on how to handle Forest Preserve funding. Thank you.
Mr. Cronin?
I love the Forest Preserve, and I think it's one of the reasons why people want to live in DuPage County. We have more open space, natural areas in the community of this size than anywhere else in the nation. We've had a wonderful working relationship with the Forest Preserve, collaborating on bike trails and hiking trails, nature areas. We worked on mosquito abatement together, which was a problem in the past, and we've been able to address it in a very responsible way and make the place safe and healthy. I think the Forest Preserve is an area to be cherished. There were problems there in the past. I even went so far as to call on the Forest Preserve to consider consolidating with the county, and that was rather, dramatic, given that I had voted when I was in the legislature to separate it, and I understand the virtue of a separate Forest Preserve. Well, today, they're doing the right thing there. And it's a beautiful operation, and I love the Forest Preserve, and I can't wait to walk on that new trail over the East Branch.
Mr. Cronin, returning to a prior subject, the merge of the Election Commission and Clerk's Office is meant to save a significant amount of money. Can you assure us that the savings will remain in voter services and election services, such as more polling places?
Well, I mean, when it gets merged into the clerk's office, the clerk will be the
ultimate party responsible for those decisions. It's a separate office, you know, it's not going to come to the county board, it's going to go to the clerk's office. So you probably should direct that question to the clerk. But I think as far as, you know, budgeting, you know, it depends on what the priorities of the day are, you know, and, you know, you look at the direction that elections are going, they're becoming more and more electronic. People, it's pretty easy to foresee that people will be voting on their smartphones sometime in the future. So having a lot of polling places, I mean, I don't know, I just read an article in the New York Times. So there are people that understand that elections are changing and the way people will participate in them is going to change. I want to get as many people to participate as possible, and I want to make sure that they're clean and they're fair and we get the right, the honest result. That's my most important objective.
Ms. LePlante?
Thank you. That's easy to tell you all what the most important objective is for the Election Commission. It's election integrity. We all saw what happened in 2016. The fallout is still happening now. We still don't know the extent to which it was compromised. There was also hacking of our voting system and our election system in Illinois. The two very, very public mishaps of the past elections in DuPage County are embarrassing. That should never have happened. That needs to never happen in the future. So that money needs to go to make sure that we have the most top-rated voting machines. We currently do not. The last election, the paper ballots didn't even fit in the machines. How embarrassing is that? They broke the machines. People had to throw the machines into the backs of their car and drive them in the middle of the night to get counted. That's not working. We need to revamp the system, protect our election integrity at all costs. That's the number one thing that we need to do. Thank you.
Ms. LePlante, staying with you. What will you do as a county leader to support diversity acceptance in the county?
This is a passion of mine. I want to make sure, like what I said earlier, that when I have the opportunity to appoint people to positions, I'm going to be doing things drastically different than my opponent. I am not simply going to appoint Republican men to every single position that I get. I'm going to be looking to make sure that women are equally represented to make up, and I'm going to make sure that minorities, people of color, LGBTQ community, disabled, I want a true reflection with all county positions and all county employees for what DuPage County actually looks like. That's very easy to do. We can look at who lives in our county, make sure they are represented in all positions of hire and all positions that are appointed. I will do my very best to reach out, as I said earlier, to those who feel marginalized, who feel their voices have not been heard. That is going to be my passion. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. LePlante, staying with you. How is the county board addressing the opioid crisis and what more can be done?
I don't think Dan got it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. We started with you to begin with. I lost track. I apologize.
What was the subject matter again?
I'm sorry. Let me read that question.
Oh, yeah, so we make a real effort. We talked about this earlier. We have it on our website. We make a real effort to reach out. Some of these positions are hard to find people that want to serve, whether it's a sanitary district or it's a fire protection district. I mean, it's not always easy to find folks, and we make an effort, and I welcome all folks. Look at the website. We recruit, we reach out, I meet with individual groups. We make a concerted effort. If there's anybody in this room that wants to serve, please, God bless you. Look at the website and apply. We go through the applications, we look at them all the time. It's a public document, it's a public forum, the website, the county website. We encourage people to apply, and we welcome folks from all sorts of different backgrounds. We would love it. I would embrace it.
Thank you. Now staying with you, Mr. Cronin. How is the county board addressing the opioid crisis and what more can be done?
Well, I think Rich Jorgensen sounded the alarm, our coroner, first a couple of years ago. The first thing that we did is we launched a Narcan program. And how did that happen? Well, I make a point, I try to go to wakes of families of a child or a person who's died from heroin or opioid overdose. So I happened to be at a wake, and I was standing in front of the deceased, and I'm talking to the grandfather, and he was outraged. And he wanted to go after these people that did this. We raised money from the private sector. We matched that money with the public sector. We launched the most ambitious Narcan program. To date, we've saved 509 lives. These are 509 lives that would have been lost. Now we're focusing on treatment. We launched the HOPE task force. We have a drug court. We have been recognized by all sorts of different groups as leading the way on this terrible, terrible crisis.
Ms. LePlante?
Thank you. This is a horrible tragedy that is affecting every community within our county. The thing that I'm most excited about is electing Greg Whalen sheriff. I'm very happy. If you've never had the chance to hear Greg speak about his background and his expertise, you are in for a treat today. We need to elect him. He is passionate about stopping the opioid crisis. He's passionate about training people in how to respond. He knows, he has a plan, he has worked on this. We need people in the sheriff's department, starting at the top with the sheriff, who know exactly how to deal with this issue. We need to work in consolidation and in partnership throughout the county to prevent this. But leadership always starts at the top, and we need to have in place to fight the opioid crisis is Greg Whalen for sheriff. The reason I'm talking about other candidates at my own debate is because I made a promise that I would always do that. I'm here to get as many people elected as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a couple more questions, but we are running out of time, and in order to keep the program on task, we are going to ask the candidates at this point to provide us with their closing statements, which are 1 minute each. Ms. LePlante, would you begin?
Thank you again, everyone, for being here. Thank you for League of Women Voters. I am going to ask you here, very, very straightforward, for your support. I'm asking for your vote. Please vote for me for chairman of the DuPage County Board. If you would like more information, please follow me on social media. All of my handles are Help Lynn Win. My website, helplynnwin.org. What I've done in a spirit of unity is I've planned a large-scale Get Out the Vote concert exactly 1 month before Election Day. It's October 6th. I've asked all of my musician colleagues to come and play. Every single candidate that's on the Democratic ballot has been invited and will be there. It's free, it's open to the public. There will be food trucks, there will be a beer truck. Can I say that? Is that all right? And we are going to be teaching everyone how to register to vote. Make sure you register to vote. Come up with your voting plan. Come up, find your polling place. Together, we can do this. We can go far. My passion is uniting people and bringing DuPage County together. Thank you very much.
Mr. Cronin.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the League. I think it's a virtuous organization. I've had the pleasure of working with the League, the state chapter, the state organization. We've teamed up on an organization called Transform Illinois. We're trying to take our experience with consolidating and saving money and dissolving units of government. We're trying to take it to the next level on a statewide level. And we've had a marvelous working relationship with the State League organization as well as the Better Government Association and other civic groups. We also have partnered with the League to help do mock elections in the high schools. And it's cost the county some money, but it's money well spent, because I think teaching high schoolers about their civic responsibilities, I think, is very important, and I know the League does too. Look, I got into public service because I want to help improve and make the world a better place. And I served in Springfield for 20 years. I'm proud of some of the things we've done. But coming back home here, I have found this to be the most gratifying, because I really think DuPage County government has done a marvelous job, and I ask for you to give me a chance to keep doing what we've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you to both of the candidates. Thank you.